Interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
What's good, everybody? It's Coach Phil, and this is another episode of Deep in the Game, man. And we have a very special guest, a young up-and-comer in the CFL, man. We have BC Lions linebacker Josh Woods, man. Josh, how you doing, man?
Good, man. I appreciate you having me on the show. This is cool.
Glad, man. Glad to have you. Glad to have you, brother. I know it's been a crazy 2023 season for you, man, but I really wanted to have you on, man. We're going to talk about the season here in a bit, but wanted to talk to you, man. Just have you come on and tell your story, man, because I want people to kind of get to know, you know, I had Don Narcisse on the last episode. You know, I always want to have the old, you know, the players from past, but I also want to bring eyes to the next generation, the new guys that are coming up in the game. So once you go ahead, man, tell your story, man. Let people get to know who Josh Woods is, man. Tell us about your upbringing, man.
Man, I don't even know where to start, really. I guess, man, I've been playing football since I was 4. You know, just all I know is sports growing up. I hooped. I tried baseball, ran track, did all those. But, I mean, the one that, like, stood out and the one that, you know, me and my dad talked about could get me the farthest was football. So, at a certain point, I had to, you know, stop hooping, stop running track and doing certain things, just focus on football. And then majority growing up, I was playing like running back, I didn't really play that much defense, to be honest. Like if I had to, like, I played like DN or like whatever they needed. But in high school, I played running back until my senior year. Then that was my first year playing linebacker. And then I had to switch schools, so I didn't get to play my junior year. So, and I mean, in the States, like your junior is your year to really, you know, put that tape out. Really, that's when the offers usually come in. So I was just going off of what coaches coming to see me, like in person. And, you know, like the little high school sophomore tape I had at running back. Other than that, like I didn't have no linebacker tape, and I didn't know exactly, you know, what I would play at the next level. And I mean, God worked it all out, because I mean, we had schools. I mean, I went to a high school where we had a lot of guys go D1. I went to the same high school that Kenny Lawler went to. So we'd had, I mean, guys going everywhere pretty much. So schools were all coming in, and I mean, God looked out, because I think the first one, Coach Graham came from Arizona State. He just seen me in the weight room one day. Coach introduced me. I left. My coach called me later, like, yeah, they want to give you an offer. And I'm like, for what? I don't know tape. I don't know what position I'm gonna play. Like, and then it's really just off of my coach's word, because that whole year, I'm playing scout. Like, I'm just doing whatever. And at a certain point, they would tell me to stop practicing because they couldn't get the plays off. I'm messing around playing DN, messing around playing linebacker, messing around go play fullback or running back, just like trying to help the team, trying to like keep my mind straight. You know, having something to do, because I played every year since I was 4. So like not being able to play, kind of, you know, how that can do to you mentally. And like I said, we had a lot of ballers, so a lot of schools are coming around. And then finally UCLA came, and like I pretty much knew, because it was between really UCLA and like Stanford at the time were like my like dream schools. I mean, growing up it was SC because I'm a SoCal kid, but at a certain point, like I had to be realistic with myself and see where I fit. And I felt like, you know, school like UCLA fit me more. Kind of like cut all the other schools off. Oregon tried to come late. That came down to signing day. And I told them, like, I'm just going to stick with UCLA and not go to Oregon. So then my time at UCLA, I enrolled early. So I took my official in January, and then I just turned 17. I enrolled in the spring, in like the end of March, early April. So I'm like I'm really like a young kid, like
You out there
going with, yeah, like, but it was like I got thrown into the fire. So like it's me and my boy Nate Metters.
Yeah.
We're both from the same area. We both enrolled early. I'm in the same class as like Josh Rosen. He enrolled in the winter, so he was there 1 quarter before us. So it was really just me and Nate, just thrown into the fire, really like straight into classes, straight into spring ball. You know, I'm like 200 pounds soaking wet. Like I'm still a kid, really. I'm going against dudes that are like 22, 23, 24, you know, guys that are getting ready to go to the NFL, and like, you know, I'm lost. And then, you know, I come in as an outside linebacker. Like halfway through the season, my freshman year, just with all the injuries. So Miles Jack goes down third game. You know, like when I'm telling you, like we had a bunch of NFL guys like going down. We had Fabian Moreau, who just had a big game with the Broncos. You know, he had gone down. Miles Jack went down, and Eddie Vanderdoes, who's he had some time in the league as well. Like that's 3 NFL guys go down within the first 3 weeks, and then it seemed like injuries just kept coming. And at one point, coach like, I need you to move to Mike. Like we don't have no depth. Like we might have to burn your shirt, because I did like the first week or 2 on scout, and they were like, nah, like we want you to start taking 1 and 2 deep reps to like learn and process and everything like that. So they're like, yeah, we like, well, all these injuries, like you need to learn Mike. So I'm in the coach's office like 8-9 p.m. like trying to go over all that, because like I'm already thinking I'm redshirting, so you kind of check out like, yeah, it's not gonna be my time. I'm seeing all these NFL guys like I'm not ready. Like I don't think I'm big enough, strong enough, fast enough yet. But like I see it now. Like I understand seeing Miles Jack and those guys balling. Like I knew I wasn't there yet, but it was like my number was about to get called. Right. So then it's probably like 2 weeks into learning Mike. Dudes go down in the middle of the game after a pick 6. Our Mike went down. I had to go in. I was not warmed up. I was not ready or nothing. Hopped in, played the second quarter, third quarter. Pulled my hamstring. Like I'm not warm at all, so I pulled my hamstring. And then like bad though, like I was out for like a month and a half or something. They were like, we're gonna try to get your shirt back. So I burned my entire shirt that year for 2 quarters, and it was just like, it was unfortunate. So
take a second to really, like, you mentioned like with Miles, because I'm from Washington. So when Miles was here, he played at Bellevue, and it was just, that's all you heard was about Miles Jack. And we all know everybody watched football that watches the channel. He was a dog. He was everything. They think he was going to win the Heisman. He was going to be all that. But to hear you having to step in and play that role at Mike, talk to us about like those 2 quarters, and like when you did mess up your hammy, what was the game? Was it faster? Who was you playing against, and what was the experience like in that?
It was Colorado, and this was probably like the 7th game of the year. So it's like in Pasadena, it's still hot. Like it was one of those, 90, 100 degree felt like games. And Colorado at the time was running a kind of a mixture of, they were running Oregon tempo with Stanford personnel. So if you can imagine how fast they're going, but they're going with these tight end packages. They're going like they're moving. Their tempo is up there, but they still have personnel to be able to run the ball. Right. At the time, the running back's Philip Lindsay, if you know how it is. Yeah. Very fast, very, very hard runner. Doesn't get tired. It's one of the things I always told him, like, bro, like how you never get tired. But I mean, he's born and raised in Colorado, so yeah, he has his wind up, and like I'm starting to get it going. I'm playing my nose at the time is Kenny Clark. For the Packers. So yeah, like, I got one of the best D linemen in front of me, and he told me like, bro, like you confident? He was my host. He's from where I'm from, and he like, bro, like you could do this, like, and all the older guys kind of like, stepping and be like, you got this. Kind of similar to what I've been experiencing in BC up here from the vets. Kind of that saying like, bro, like we know what you can do, so like just play, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to get the hang of it. Third quarter, where they run a screen. I broke on it, like shut it down. But I felt initially, like as soon as I took off, like I felt my hamstring pop, made the play, and like I limped off, and I'm like, yeah, that's it. Like I can't run no more. Fortunately, we won, and then other guys got healthy, and they were able to finish off the year. But that was like my first taste of college football for real. Like 17 in the Rose Bowl, just no idea what I'm really doing. Just out there, just flying around playing ball. So then I was at Mike. Second year, I moved. I was backing up Jayon Brown at will, who spent some time, with the Titans and the Raiders. So I knew like he's one of the best on our team. Like I was in a position where I really couldn't compete that much. So I moved to Sam. And me and Judge rotated. Me and Cam Judge rotated.
Cam Judge was on there?
Yeah, my boy.
I love Cam. Love Cam.
That's my dog. Like that's really like one of my big brothers up here in the league, which is cool having something like that. And if one day me and him were to play with each other again, I think that would be, really exciting. But
That's probably
me and Judge were rotating together at Sam. So like that was that class's last year, and then junior is like going to be my first year full-time starting at Will. And that was Coach Jim Moore's last year, so we had a lot of ups and downs. We're only winning home games. I ended up tearing my shoulder, popping out in the Rose Bowl like halfway through the year. So I had to, I got surgery on that. Then the next year, recovering, we got Chip Kelly just came in. I had thought about leaving, but I knew Coach Don Pelham had recruited me to go to Oregon, so I stayed. And kind of liked what they were talking about doing, and I was going to play back to inside backer. I had guys like Chris Barnes around, and like some guys that like were really like my brothers. Like I wanted to kind of finish with my guys, you know what I'm saying? And 2 weeks before what would have been my fourth year, my knee got rolled up on, ACL, MCL. I remember too, like as soon as I go down, Darius Pickett was, because he went to UCLA too. He was our safety, and he was like,
y'all had everybody.
The crazy thing is we had so many dogs at UCLA, like all around the NFL, all around the CFL. Like we got ballers, like dudes was everywhere. We just couldn't put it together. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah. Was it more like guys are transitioning from the Jim Mora regime and his system? Because I remember Jim Mora when he was up here with the Seahawks, wasn't really like a favorite thing. I think he was up here in Seattle, but he wasn't really a favorite guy as far as like what he was running. And also, not to mention, you're going into Chip Kelly. You already know what you're getting offensively. Defensively is what it is. He doesn't really, from what we hear, he doesn't really dabble much in the defense. So was it that, or was it just, man, we got all these dogs, but guys are out of position?
I mean, we never clicked at the same time. Like, I would say, like my first year is probably our best year. Like I said, with all those guys we had, like we had our starting 4 linebackers at the time all went to the NFL. We had guys that went to the NFL that were backups. Like we had a Takaris McKinley that like wasn't even really getting on the field that much, and he ended up going first round. Man, and it's like injuries honestly derailed that year. I think honestly we could have had a shot at winning the Pac-12 at the time. Just injuries, like I said, you lose 3 defensive starters that are all NFL guys. Like it's going to be hard in college to, you don't have free agents around. You got your roster in college. That's what you got. You can't, even the transfer portal, the kid can't come in and play right away. So you have what you have, through the year. And it was like the same thing. My second year, Colton Miller got hurt, who's starting left tackle for the Raiders. He goes down, and the very next game, Josh Rosen goes down. So then we don't have no offense. We had a top 10 defense in the country that year, and we went 4-8 because we just couldn't figure out offensively. Third year, Josh Rosen's healthy. We have a great offense year, but then defense isn't good. And then when Chip came, there was just such a changeover. I feel like he didn't have what he needed in order to be successful. Like we restarted. Like there was a big changeover. Like probably like felt like 50 guy difference. Like from the year, like the roster from one year to the next was probably like a 50 guy difference between guys quitting, guys transferring, guys retiring, all that type of stuff. So you've seen like UCLA in the past, few years finally start to be successful. I know this year's been kind of rough for them because they lost a 5-year starting quarterback in Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Yeah. And this what I'm talking about with my podcast, because it's Believe in UCLA Football. So like I'm talking about them every week. So like I'm seeing it. Like it sucks because I'm seeing how the fans are feeling. I'm seeing this, and like me as a guy that, 1, I've been in a room, and 2, I know ball, so I see what's going on. And it's like when you have a quarterback that's been controlling your team for 5 years and he's not there no more, it's tough. It's hard to for a quarterback to come in and take over when a guy is literally like was Chip's baby as far as developing and growing the offense through him. And like DTR, who I'm pretty sure he's about to get the start this week with the Browns, just how dynamic he was. Yeah. By the time he was leaving, kind of like VA as far as he's gonna make those big throws, but like once he starts running, it's a problem. You don't know what you want to worry about. You want to worry about the run of the pass. And we had Zach Charbonnet, who's been lining up his rookie year. Guys like Jake Bobo left, who's been lining up this year. And it's like when you lose guys like that who are you see here in the NFL or doing their thing, it's like it's hard to replace guys like that immediately. So like that was like the thing that I feel like that and injuries and all the changeover were like the reasons I feel like in the past few years UCLA hasn't had the success that we should have with the talent we had. So like it's tough. Like from the outside in, it's like people don't think UCLA was not good, but like when you really in the room and you really understand what's going on, it's different than, you know, the casual fan that just sees the score and sees the wins and losses. They're not seeing everything that factored into that.
I've seen a little bit of UCLA games the last couple of years, and you know, with DTR was dynamic. You know, it's like when Michigan had what's his name, Denard Robinson, the guy shooter, the entire very similar, but the difference with DTR had a cannon on him and he could do it. And I thought after DTR, you know, left and did his thing, now he's doing his thing in the NFL, going to have a chance to do his thing in the NFL. You see how like UW, they're shining right now. I would think UCLA would step up and USC is kind of struggling right now with Caleb Williams and all this. It's like y'all time. It's right now. Like you got to capitalize. And with Chip, I always worried with Chip Kelly, and not knocking him. Chip is a great offensive mind, but if he doesn't have that specific quarterback that he's bred and withered and created, the offense doesn't really work. So. And that's just me from an outsider's perspective. I've seen Chip from at Oregon when he had Mariota, and then he left and went to Philly, and then he was in San Francisco, and that was, you know, a crapshoot in itself. So I kind of can understand. But what I also want to ask you is, you know, from a defensive perspective, what were you guys running at the time? From the Mora era to Chip's era, what were you guys running defensively? And what was which one did you favor more to your strengths?
So it started out in a 3-4, and that's when I was playing more Sam outside linebacker. Then it kind of morphed into like we were trying to be more gapped out, so we went to a 4-3 and hoping that it would help, you know, stop the run and just because we started having more DNs and less hybrids, if that makes sense. So like we had more guys that were better pass rushers than able to rush and drop. So we went into more like a 4-3 and lived in a lot of by the third year lived in a lot of nickel. So like 4-2 nickel. So I started, like I said, I started outside. Then when we went more 4-3, I started moving more to that wheel spot. And then when Chip came, it was more 3-4. But the difference was they would, for when you go nickel, you take out the nose and your outside linebackers just condense the ends instead of some people take out an end and put a DB, you know what I'm saying? Put a DB in and just knock over. So initially when I was coming off my shoulder, I was playing at the inside backer, one of the inside backer spots. Micro wheel, it was kind of like it didn't really matter. You just played left and right pretty much in that one. But then, but after my knee and just like we didn't have the depth, they moved me to outside linebacker, which at many times we're a nickel. So I'm playing kind of like, at times, depending on the coverage, I could be playing like DN or I could be playing like a nickel. So like, either I'm rushing or I was on Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot. Like it was, it's really crazy. Like all that, but it's helped me so much to like what I could do now. And as far as, start getting to the CFL, but like, shout out to like my coach in high school, Coach Martinez. He's the first one that told me like, you're probably not going to be a running back. Like first he saw me. He saw me as a safety, and then he was like, no, you're going to be a linebacker. Like, he's the one. He said, you remind me of like an Anthony Barr type. And this is before I had UCLA offer anything. And like in high school, I played more of that style. And then when I got to UCLA, I want to shout out Coach Scott White, who's now at San Jose State. He's the one that really helped develop me even more of a linebacker, because in high school, I couldn't play behind the ball. Like, I couldn't read anything. Like I needed to be on the edge, seeing everything outside in. Like I didn't understand gaps, fronts, like any gap scheme, anything like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would tell our coach in high school, like, if you want to go to nickel, like either I got to go to defensive end or like I got to come out. Like I'm just being real. Like I can't read like that. And I was just honest about it. And he's like, you're gonna have to figure it out. So when I got to UCLA, many hours on that board, just like coach yelling out, okay, like draw up over front. And it was like starting with fronts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Starting with fronts, then start building the defense around it. And then it started going, okay, draw this defense versus this set. Okay, now draw this odd front with this coverage, but versus this run play, with this pass play. Like, and we spent really the years while I was there just like developing like that. And then we start adding the film in like footwork, like just playing like the first few like seconds of the play and like seeing like how would you move to this certain thing like that, and like how would you. So like I really started to learn like where everybody would go,
right?
Like from the D line to the linebackers to the DBs, like coverages, what everybody should be doing, supposed to be doing. And that's why it helped me a lot to learn all the different spots. And like now, like shout out Coach Brown and Coach RP, and all we have now, like they trust me to do all these different things, but it's because the past and these other coaches I had before that helped develop me into being able to do that now. So now you see me in some games and it's like I'm at DN or I'm at Mike, I'm at Will, I'm at Sam, I'm half, I'm high, I could spin to the post, like all these different things. And the coaches just trust me to be able to do that. But like Coach Brown he knew that I heard and like seen my tape and heard that I could do that in college. So like certain things be like, okay, I want you to be on the edge right here because I know you're the only one in the room that's like been in that. And it's like certain things they trust me to in certain packages that we could build because I could do certain things. So like, and getting to like how I got to the CFL.
Yeah.
So I came. So 2019 was my last year. I said like I was playing outside linebacker like DN. And I've kind of felt like I was out of position because I remember being in meetings one day, and I'm like, Coach, I was like, anybody in the NFL, like, would he be my size at this spot? And he like, no. And I'm like, okay. I was like, one day we're watching Chase Young tape, and I'm like, me and Chase Young are not the same player. I was trying to tell him like me and Chase Young,
no.
like I'm like we're playing the same thing right now, but like our builds are different. Like,
right.
He's a rusher. I want to be in space. I want to cover on and be like behind the ball. I want to play like that. I was like, we're very different. It's just like the box I had to do it for the team, like in that sense, like take it for the team and play that role. So like I ended up leading the team in sacks, and that's not even my thing. I just like for the team, I got you. Like, and that's like how I like to be. Like for the team, I got y'all. Like I'll figure it out. I'll do it. So other guys can play other spots and we can make this thing work. So then coming out, I was going to try to get my 6th year because I had the back-to-back injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd be able to get my 6th year. I couldn't get it. So I had to start just training for pro day because I didn't get into any of the senior games. I think because I had the expectation of coming back. A week before pro day, COVID happens. So everything shuts down. Nothing, like crickets. So like teams are hitting me up, getting information, but they really interviewed me. I'm not like on the boards like that. So, I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought I would get some trials and stuff, but because COVID, there was no Ricky camps.
Mm-mm.
And then there was none of that. No OTAs, no Ricky camps, no preseason games. No,
it was a weird situation, like NFL, because they did the Hard Knocks and they were showing the Rams and their whole protocol. And I watched it. I'm just like, God, I can only imagine mentally how tough it is for the young guys coming in, and how you guys had like, well, how am I going to get drafted? Is anybody going to see me? And piggybacking on what you said a couple seconds ago about like, I respect the fact that you're willing to sacrifice. And that was something that I saw when I saw you play in the playoff game against Calgary. You were all over the place. You were roaming. It was the 11 tackles that like threw me, because a lot of guys in CFL, they'll get some tackles, but 11 in a playoff game, man, it was the way you were making tackles. And it showed me that, wow, dude, he knows, because RP's system, anybody that sees it, I speak so highly of him, because what he does, he brings a taste of what the NFL they do in the NFL, but it's in CFL form, like, and it's beautiful, and I see you excelling in it. Take us through, like, you mentioned playing the nickel, you've been in the 3-4, you've been in the 4-3. Like, what is so, I guess, eye-opening about Coach Ryan Phillips' defense? How are you so you've become successful? Because I've looked at your stats and I see, man, he has some pretty good numbers with his tackles. He's in almost every play.
I think it's just the way the amount of vets we have and the trust we've had. Like, this has been built over since I came in. I was the NFL. I came in the NFL window in 2021, so I came halfway through the year. And then I was active the last 2 games, and then but so, like, I've seen the development of this, from when they first came in to now, and just how much advanced we've been. Like, this camp, we were able to install things that, like, we didn't put into the season, like, you know what I'm saying, till halfway through the season the year before, just because we knew all the basics, and we, like, communication, everybody was on the same page, and we were just so far advanced in the defense. And RP likes putting guys in positions, to do their thing and to succeed. So, like, different packages that that we have, and different formations, and different things to play to people's strengths. We like to be aggressive. He puts I'm saying, like, he wants to get guys. You see a lot of time in the second down, he likes having all those rushers in, and he like I said, he likes allowing us to do what we like to do. And if something isn't working or something we feel isn't, like, I came to him in the last game, I'm like, yo, like, there's an adjustment. I feel like I don't like how I'm reading it in this. Like, let's switch it up to this. And we started, like, dialing it up, and he's like, yeah, like, I want to do this, is that. And I'm like, okay. We started changing things up, and that's when, we started shutting down the run, and started, playing better, and, like, everybody started getting it. It was just, we took too long to get to that point. But
I don't think just from me, like, when I watch you guys play, it's free flowing, but it's also from outsiders' perspective, it's just fun. It's fun watching you guys play as a unit. And the thing that I fell in love with the most with this defense, with Ryan Phillips' defense, is it looked like he's disguising heavy, but he times it just right. And a lot of coaches, they have a system. And the coordinators, they have their systems. Like, we're going to roll with my system. We're going to make it work. And a lot of times they fail. And you did mention, you went to him and said, hey, I'm not reading this right. And he adjusted to that. That, kudos to Ryan. Big shout out to Ryan Phillips, man. I've been giving his props all season, man. He's got you guys in positions to be successful. I don't think you guys got it too late. I think you guys were prime and in position, because I know he came in in 2019. Was that the same year you came in, 2019?
No, I came in 2021.
2021. Okay. So you've had two years under him in the system with him, or
pretty much two and a half.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it a learning curve, or was it a hey, I like this. I feel like myself. I can play in this system.
It was definitely a learning curve, because going from the states football to CFL, just like the difference of the field size, the waggle, 12 play, like certain things I had to figure out, and I was able to use that 2021, those weeks. And like I said, I'm with Coach Travis Brown. The same thing, like how I was in college, like going over like different plays, breaking down film. Oh, this is how you do that. This is how you do that. And then I slowly started getting reps, because like at a certain point you can't just go on the field and practice. I feel like unless how to play certain techniques in the CFL, which is different. Just certain ways that people like running, their quarters techniques. And me, I like it, which was one of the things I had to figure out is like the no contact after 5 yards.
Yeah.
Because me, like, I like playing physical from, I used to be manned up on tight ends a lot. Just like, even on slot, like they want me to jam. If I know I have help high, I could, be real physical at the point.
Right.
But like now it's like sometimes you worry about touching somebody after 5 yards because they can review that and that whole thing. So like certain things I had to adjust to in the waggle and the formations and things like that. But like the more reps you get, it starts slowing down, and then you're able to start, really diagnosing like what's going on. So I think probably by like, I would say like mid last year, I was like more honed in and keyed in on like, this is how you played in CFL. This is how you do it.
I like that. And so as we kind of go into like talking about the 2023 season, you guys came out the gate swinging at everybody, and you guys had the big game against Winnipeg, and throughout the season, the defense really never let up. When were you all, I'm trying to remember, so correct me if I'm wrong, were you a day one starter, or were you like mid-season you got the starting job? At what point did you come in like, hey, I'm gonna anchor this, I got the reads, I know what I'm gonna do, and coach said it's your time?
So I mean, with the ratio, we were doing 2 Canadian linebackers and for a majority of the season. I didn't get to start until Bola Combo had gotten hurt. I think it was after Montreal, and it was like a stretch of games that are like really important. Like we're coming down to the end, and like it's us and like I think we were a few games behind Winnipeg at the time, and this is like leading up into that showdown in BC. And it was like before that, it's like, oh, y'all can't stop. Like my first start was like, what are you gonna do about the run? Y'all can't stop the run, like all this and all that. And then I was starting at will. I think the first game I had was might have been Ottawa. Coming off the bye, Ottawa, who was like hot at the time. Crum and Williams was really like running that thing, like putting up, 120 on teams and rushing, and so that was a big game. That was a big comeback game. We stopped the run, but there were certain things that we had issues with in the beginning of the game, and then once you started keying in, it was a big comeback. That to a SAS game, which SAS was running that thing. It was like we were playing all the teams that they were saying were like really having really good run games against other teams. And when we stopped them from running, and it's quiet.
Yeah.
And then it was like that Calgary game happened, and then it was like y'all can't stop the run again. So it was like a lot of learning and figuring it out at certain times, because it's like it was certain things where we all needed to key in as a defense, and that's one thing I think is different too. In the CFL with the amount of bricks and bypasses, with the receivers, it kind of makes everybody have to be in on the run, because they could essentially, the way that things are blocked up, they can eliminate the D-line and linebackers from being able to fit in the run and make your DBs dependent on your DBs tackling.
Oh yeah.
So that's why like you definitely need, everybody keyed into the run, and like you could tell the games where everybody's on the same page as the games, we've been good at it. So, but I started those 4 games. We lost to Winnipeg. I didn't start the last 2, and then playoffs, I was supposed to start at Will. Then Ben went down, so I moved to Mike, and then Winnipeg I started at Mike.
Right. I the thing that you mentioned about like in the CFL, I mentioned it a lot during the season, that can anybody stop the run? Because when you mention like when we talk about the nickel, a lot of the nickel, for people that don't understand like what we talk about nickel, it's 4 linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 DBs. And a lot of it is we talk about the umbrella, and a lot of it, that 4-2-5 is predicated on the DBs. Am I right or wrong?
Yep.
So, and a lot of people focus on the DBs because there's an advantage. You have a little bit of advantage. You can call different blitzes, you can move the fronts, you can do different looks, but you forget inside the box the run a lot of times. With y'all, it was, we're going to score, but there was a stretch of games where y'all played like Ottawa, you played Winnipeg, you played Sask, you played. I think the Edmonton one, that last time y'all played Edmonton at Commonwealth,
Yeah,
they tried. Yeah, they trade forward one, but also the one y'all did beat them 22-0. They kind of were starting to give Kevin Brown the rock a little more, but y'all went on a stretch where y'all faced almost the best running backs in the league, and it was crazy. But y'all did step up. So from your perspective, when you talk about run game, we have to stop the run. Y'all did a pretty good job down the stretch at it. Other than the last one, that last Calgary game, I was shocked.
Oh no, it got ugly.
I wouldn't say it got ugly. I think it was
it got ugly.
Well, it was just surprising to me that when I was watching it back, I was like, we know what Kadeem's gonna do. Mm-hmm. We know what Peyton Logan can do. But when they put Dietrich in there, Dietrich Mills, and I was like, God, like, how many running backs do they have? So I'm saying Dietrich should be a starter on the team, if I'm being honest. If just because the ratio and the way the roster's set up, if Dietrich was on another team, he'd be a starter. So it sucks that like they had to choose for the playoff games who they wanted to dress. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and then y'all had to play against my man James Butler. JB was running this season just because even though they didn't really have the quarterback situation right, JB had to carry, and y'all went up there and y'all took care of business. I'll give you that, man. You knew JB was gonna get it up the gut or he was gonna get the outside zone. JB was gonna get some yards, but y'all buckled up.
And that's my brother. Like that's one of my my closest friends up here. And I mean, that first one, I mean, we went to dinner the night before, and he told me before, like, "Hey, this personal for me." And you can tell.
yeah.
Like he kept saying it, like, bro, like he just like you could tell he had that feeling, and then the way he was running, he was like, "Yeah, this one personal." But like, bro, he's one of the best backs because he can do everything, and like people like I feel like hating him at the end, and like thought because the system here that he had the success he had last year, and he came this year and proved everybody wrong that no matter what O-line he got, no matter what quarterback he got, he's that guy. Like for him to put up those numbers when teams know that they were going to try to run the ball, when teams know that he was the focal point of the offense, and he was still able to put up a rack running, and like what he does on checkdowns, like JB's dangerous because his twitch and his he's still low center of gravity, so you could bounce off him. He can like he still has jukes, but he can like run hard as well. He does a little bit of balance. I feel like he's probably the most balanced, I think, in the league of being able to do like a little bit of everything. And pass protection too. You
got to give love to JB, but you got to give love. There's different types of running backs. That's what I love about the CFL. Sure. And there's so many different forms, and you have to be prepared to tackle them differently. Mm-hmm. There's ways to like. One of my favorites, my guy Jamal Morrow. Shout out to Maul. Maul and JB have a weird. They're not Le'Veon Bell size, but they do similar things to where you can move JB here, you can put him here. He's good in the pass block. Jamal, same thing. And people were criticizing Jamal all season about, well, we got backups. We need a guy like Winnipeg with like they got Brady Oliveira in Winnipeg. You don't always need to have a power back to dominate. I like what JB does. I like Peyton Logan. Look what he can do. Look at what Jamal can do. There's so many different running backs. But JB, I was shocked when he went to Hamilton. I thought y'all were going to keep him. And don't get me wrong. Y'all, I love Mizell. That's my dude, man.
Free smoke.
Man, that I kept saying when y'all played Winnipeg, I was like, give him the damn ball. Like, I get it. You live with Vernon, you die with Vernon. And I love VA. But I was like, can y'all just a few more touches, a few more, like establish that run? But that's just me. That's what I was thinking. But I mean, y'all stopping the run and your defense is beautiful to watch. And down the stretch, let's talk about when you got into the playoffs, man. I was in the house for that one, and I saw you do your thing, man. What was going through your mind the playoff run? What was going through your mind, and how did you approach the game against Calgary first? We'll start with that.
I mean, with Calgary and like I said, the way we ended, that was the last game we played was Calgary. We had the last week of the season we had to bye, so really we played Calgary, had to bye, played them again, and just like watching that film just over and over again of being like, we can't let this happen again. We need to we know that they were going to come in and try to run the ball. They're going to try to do what they did last time. We need to set edges because we didn't set edges the game before, and I just felt like overall the effort and the energy had to increase. Like we didn't play our style of ball in that last game. So like that was one of the things I was telling the guys, like, yeah, we need to get back to playing like us and do what we do, stop the run, because we know they're going to come out and do that, and then have them try to beat us passing. So I mean that was the mindset really going in, and just off the rip, like that's what time we were on. And then unfortunately, like when Ben went down, Ben is one of the most consistent, guys I think in the league as far as he's going to do his job. He might not be loud and rah-rah and the glamour, but Ben is real consistent. And it's crazy because the play he got hurt, like he had read that play all week, like that if he got that look and he was free to spy, really, he was going to run to that spot. And he was so fast to the spot that he ran into GP. Like it was just his instinct. Like he shouldn't have really like been there. He just broke on it because he knew it was going there.
Right.
And it's like if GP wasn't there, Ben's getting that pick. And this is unfortunate, like that happened. So like immediately, like my mind switched to, damn, okay, I need to move to Mike. I need to get my mind right. I need to, Bo's coming in. We need to be on the same page, communicating and things. And, a lot of things I hadn't got a look at because all week when you practicing Will is kind of different, vantage point and perspective, reading the line and things like that. So I had to really dial into Mike. And like I was playing like, what I'm saying, for my boy and like holding it down and still like keying things that I had been seeing all week. And I think that was like a lot of the game plan of me taking away check downs and like just flying around. It was I've been saying when people were asking, I was like, man, me and Kadeem were doing one-on-ones the whole game pretty much, right. Like open field one-on-ones, just back and forth and battling. Like we're both laughing because we just competing. Like it was a lot of fun. And I'm glad we got that win. And then I think going into Winnipeg it was different. Just they're both great backs, but very different. And Winnipeg's O-line. Yeah. Winnipeg O-line is, to me, is better. Just the way their play style and that's a group of vets. Like the way that they move as a unit is different than everybody else in the league. I think just like the way they climb, the way they help each other, the way the effort after the ball is past them is different than a lot of other people in the league. So a lot of those looks, like it's hard to get that look in practice. So a lot of times I'm like watching film and asking Ben certain things because all year he's the only one that's gotten that read. You know what I'm saying? He's the only one that's been centered up. Like even when I started versus them the time before I met Will, I was playing like in some packages out at Sam. So I'm like, I was majority always on the outside. So I'm not getting these different reads.
Right.
And that's why like that first drive, like figuring it out. They just had a good script. I think that first drive, and that was like that's the only time they scored, but it was just like so important that like that drive. And there were some second down situations, like even the one kicking myself for it, but like I let Brady run inside on the route. Yeah. And the thing is, like all like on the film, I thought he was gonna run a corner because all the breakdowns, majority of the time when they go empty, he's running guys off to the corner. Right. And hopefully creating space underneath for the receivers. But if nobody goes over top, like Kolaros will still throw it. So I'm thinking like I'm gonna play high inside. And of course he broke inside, like that play. And then
it's not your fault. I mean, that's cut you off. Like, it call it what it is. You did. But at the same time,
it's football.
It's great. It's great football. But I wouldn't say don't kick yourself necessarily. It's more of a you got me. They're fine tuned. You got me. And you mentioned about the line. I want to throw this in here real quick for folks to understand. The difference between Calgary and Winnipeg's line is one thing. Calgary's line, they're making holes for Kadeem. They have to. that you've seen on film. Some of the holes that they create are massive, and Kadeem just can get through them. Whereas with Winnipeg, we are going to impose our will. As it feels like, yeah, it's 5 guys, but it just feels like it's one person, one big ass person, and they just impose their will, play after play after play. And not to mention, you still got to stop Brady, and Brady's coming at you. He gonna get about 4 or 5 on you. So 2 different.
Because the way that Winnipeg's line is climbing forward, and Brady is like, you lose him. You really do lose him. So it's like you playing really cat and mouse. Like we were talking about it after. It's like you see blurs of when you need a rock, and like by the time I figured the things out and dialed in the way I wanted to, it was after that first drive. Yeah, and we started running, more solid fronts, more gapped out fronts. And we started getting it, but they're climbing, and then we're going in our, more pass stopping defenses. They're running draws, and they don't ever call holding on those guys. So
nah,
they gonna get away with that, and it's frustrating. Even the one where another key play on that drive, I think that second and goal, I stood up Brady at the 4, but next thing I know, all their entire offensive lineman is picked him up and took him to the end zone. I'm getting tackled off. It's frustrating. That's the style of play they had, and it sucks because that play, if I get them down at the 4, that's a field goal, not a touchdown, and then see how the game goes from there.
But you guys had the play that a lot of people don't. I broke it down in the video. Phenomenal goal line stand when Prue Cup was in there. When he did the read out, and he was they're selling the read, and then Brady does almost like a counter. And I thought that was y'all moment. I was like, okay, they made the stop. They're getting them. They're forcing to a field goal. The game is now 8. Get Vernon back out there, and they can get downfield. I was amazed. And even then, watching, I saw that play you talked about. I'm in the stands watching, how the hell are they picking this man up? And he literally, where was it? It was down. It was second. It was second and goal. Y'all were got the 6 or the 7 yard line, and he just got dragged in there.
You know what I'm saying? I stood him up at probably the 4, and we were just stalemated, and then everybody just I don't
Hey,
I'm expecting to go down, and then I just feel everything. And I tried to what I was trying to do is grab him, just turn, take his momentum.
Yeah.
So we go down.
Yeah.
But then I got ripped off the pile somehow. It's crazy.
And the worst part about when you talk about Winnipeg's, just Brady in general, he's going to win MOP. We already know it's going to happen. But you watch the film, he's not just a power back. His jump cuts are phenomenal.
Yeah. Great cuts.
For somebody that big, it's he makes one cut and he's gone.
And that's the thing when the line, I'm saying, you only see glimpses, so it looks okay, he's trying to hit the front side A gap jump cut, he's hitting the C off the brick. Certain things like that, or he's hitting the front side A gap, he's breaking it outside. He is, I'm saying the way their run game is dialed up. I'm really interested to see how the game goes this weekend, as far as how Montreal decides how they want to play the run, because it's they really do have a system, and one thing too, they have really selfless receivers that will block.
Yes.
They got, it can be Dembski, it could be Bailey at certain times. It's K-Law. When Sean's playing, they lined up in 23. Next thing you know, it's double brick backs, and it turns into 41. But you don't know if they're both blocking. One of them is bricking, the other one's doing a bypass. They have the way that they do so many looks off that, and you have to honor both. You have to as a defense. You have to. And as soon as you try to lighten it up, thinking that they're gonna pass it, he's gonna keep the ball. But then as soon as you pile up the front and thinking you're gonna stop the run, then they're doing these RPOs,
and they're quick.
What Kolaros loves, with having somebody bypass, somebody's running, somebody's a hook, somebody's running a late dig, he's able to seem like he's rolling everything right, throws back left, certain things that they just have keyed up. It's tough because, like I said, you have to play both. So you're never fully prepared. Either you're fully prepared for run or you're fully prepared for pass, and it's you have to find that middle. to really defend them.
You got it. I love how they pace the game out.
Yeah.
They are the best in the business at doing that. I've said it for people that are here in the States, man. It's like watching a good West Coast offense. They're not in a rush, but they're not slow. They have great. Zach paces the game out. Zach has great, all those damn receivers. He's got Brady. You have to watch out for everybody. And it's challenging, but watching y'all play against them in the West Final, I thought, okay, really good defense from BC. We know what Matthew can do. We know Josh going to be in there. We know that what their DBs can do, but something felt like it was missing. And I just don't know. It felt like y'all were there, but they
honestly, but you got to think, like, you lose 2 all-stars in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Losing TJ Lee, who is our vet, like, that's our leader on defense, is TJ. He's the voice, really. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Losing him was tough. And we're going to sideline, like, he's still trying to, fire me up, get me going. But then I'm leaning on Marcus Sells and GP, like, hey, y'all are all-stars too. Y'all vets too. Like, we need you to step up for T. And then on offense, Hatch had, man, a hell of a year. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we still had talent with Luck coming in, stepped up big. But I feel like you could tell, I don't know if it was the game plan or just like the rhythm. It's just like they once Hatch went down, everybody was kind of moving to different spots. And like, honestly, the biggest advantage Winnipeg, it's not the cold, it's the noise, it's the crowd. Like, it was not being able to hear. Like, and that was one thing I know that Coach Rick got criticized for, because we practiced in BC place. That was strategic. He had the sound in there going crazy. Like, we couldn't hear at practice. So like, it was the sound. That cold doesn't matter. Like, they say what they want about like the cold affecting. Like, once you're playing, it is what it is. But like, when you can't hear, we couldn't hear on punt. Like, that was a big factor too. We couldn't hear cadences. We couldn't hear, and that's on punt. So like, imagine when it's second and long. Like, I could see the confusion on our offense. Just not being able to hear was like a big factor. But yeah, losing those 2 guys definitely, affected. And like I said, that second half, I think we held Brady to, it was like 8 yards rushing or something like that. Which that's usually his time, where if he had 100 in the first half, he's going to have 200 in the second half. Like, that's when he usually puts it on. So like, I was really, proud that we were able to step up and stop them. And other than Kayla started going crazy, but like,
oh, it's Kayla. I mean, come on now.
He's been that since high school, been that in college. Like, I know Kayla, so like, you really can't stop him. As long the ball is in his catch radius is insane. Like,
Larry Fitzgerald level catch radius. It's beautiful. I heard people in the stands talking about, well, he's not really a number 1. He learned going to Edmonton that he's not a true number 1. I'm like, hold on a second. Hold on. And let me give Kenny his love, man, because Kenny Lawler he's that high wire receiver, and you know it better than anybody else. Kenny just does things. He's an anomaly. He does shit that just not every receiver can make, catches that receivers can't make. Anything near the sideline, he's getting. Any 50-50 ball, it's 100-0 Kenny. He gonna get it. So he's phenomenal. And I got irritated when people were saying, oh, he's not really a number 1. Well, who the hell's the number 1 then? If Dalton's out, who number 1? Who you gonna throw to?
Yeah, and like, that's one of the things why they're so dangerous, because they all play like they could be number 1s. Dempsey could be a number 1. Sean could be a number 1. K-Law can be number 1. And they have other guys that step up and play their roles. So, one of the best, teams for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, it's and watching y'all, man, to give y'all credit where credit is due, man, you still fought to the end. And to kind of wrap things up, man, as you're going into the off season now after the Grey Cup and everything, what is the goal for you? What are you looking to get better at? What are you looking to evolve within your game?
I'll be a free agent this year, so we'll see, how everything shakes out. I mean, I love BC. I just want to, wherever I am, I want to be the guy next year as far as just starting the entire year. Whether it's at Mike or Will, I just want to be impactful, be all God created me to be, and really like show that I can, play this. I can do whatever needs to be done. But I think, just still continue to key in on looks, like IQ wise. I want to be at a different level. Like, I like the way, you always hear about like Big Hill and stuff, like just being dialed, Sully, like how they were when they were together. Like, I want to be like part of those units of like, yeah, them linebackers, you don't want to, they're dialed in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I hope, with me and Ben, like our chemistry has been really great. I hope, he gets healthy. But like wherever I am and whatever duo I'm with, I want to be one of those just like units that it's gonna be a tough day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to be one of those like dialed in, like run, pass, I just want to do it. It's a lot of things. Like, it's not just like one specific area. It's just continual improvement in every area. From technique and shocking blocks and shooting gaps. My blitzes, I want to have better pass rush mechanics and things like that. In my coverage, having quicker breaks and better feel. It's like a lot of times like your best drops are the ones that don't get noticed because they didn't throw the ball.
Right.
And it's like, I think there's one thing you said, like with RP's defense, he gives us the ability to, like, I feel like we have some of the tougher jobs for linebackers covering in this league because they put us a lot of times in a lot of space. But that's because the trust that he has. So I appreciate him for, allowing us to do that.
That's good, man. I mean, with RP's defense, man, you jumped out to me, man. And just before we get up out of it, man, I just want to give you your respect, man. You jumped out, you made plays, man, in crucial moments, and I have all the respect in the world for you, brother. You gonna keep growing. I hope that you keep achieving, pushing, and going to do what you got to do to be the best. Because this league, man, there's some real good backers, man. I'll tell you what, but
for sure.
But the thing is, you young, man. I didn't realize you were younger than me. I think I'm like 3-4 years older than you. And it's always good to like talk with backers and listen and learn and see what they see, because y'all are the heartbeat of the defense. So for me to you, man, thank you so much for coming on here, man. Chop it up, and you're always welcome, man, to come back. Y'all, please go follow Josh on Twitter, on Instagram, man, and show this brother some support, man, because he on the way up, man, to be in that group of LBs, man. So appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming on, man.
I appreciate you, man. I mean, I love what you're doing. I think it's like big for the CFL because, I mean, people don't understand like the amount of talent is in this league, man. Like top to bottom, some guys, didn't get opportunities with the NFL or injuries or, all these things. But like, there's so much talent and like it's good ball. Like when you really watching it, and I mean, the way you're reacting is like that's big too, because I feel like it appeals to the younger generation, which you need more, younger people up here and in the States, like learning, about CFL and like growing a game. So I mean, keep doing what you're doing. If you're reacting and get on me when I make mistakes on tape, get on me, let me know. You know what I'm saying?
I did. You kind of pissed me off a little bit there on that, but see, we mentioned it. I didn't realize.
I was like, I knew. I'm saying, I like, and that's one of the things. Like when I make a mistake, I'm gonna tell you I made that mistake before you tell me. Like it's gonna be. That's one of the things that's frustrated. And like as soon as I went to sideline, like, or even there right there, I told Brady, I was like, hey, you got me. Like, and then on the sideline, I'm like, dang, like that's one of those plays where like
that pissed me off because you were in position, and I watched it. I'm like, all right, my boy got it, and all of a sudden, like, all right, man. All right, I understand.
And I was walking through the process. I'm telling you, like all week, I was so dialed in on like, oh, he's running from this. He's gonna run this post corner. Like I'm gonna take it off. Like I'm gonna slow play the inside and then rush high. Like probably switch hips depending on the way he breaks it. And then as soon as he broke inside, it was just a moment like, dang, like you already know. Like as soon as you do that, like one step, you're like, dang. And it's just
but you had your feet under you though. That was what frustrated me. I was like, all right. most LBs, they don't really have their feet under them. They're just all like knees and up. They're trying to square up. You were there.
I know.
But it's just, I was like, damn, man, my boy that out here got, damn. But even the run was what frustrated me because you were trying to, I think you were behind him or on the side of him, and then everybody just collapsed.
I'm saying we stalemated. We went because I had just like you see, I had just got like I had hands in center. I'm getting off the center. As soon as I got off, he was already running downhill. We stood each other up. We stalemated, and then I was gonna try to just wrap roll, just grab him, wrap roll. We go down right there. He loses momentum because I'm turning him right. But it was like his O lineman. He had one O lineman grab him from the front.
Yeah.
Two from the back, and then they added, and then I got ripped off of him. If you see, I literally got ripped. Like I got tackled. There were times where I was getting tackled off of tackling Brady. And
I'm gonna try to like with the way you just explained it. I'm gonna remember to like slow motion this play while you're talking because you're breaking it down perfectly. Oh my God. And I was like,
and it's like in the moment, I'm telling you like what I'm trying to do. And I'm like, dang, how did I end up in like how am I in this position? And then watching like I couldn't even watching on the iPad after, it didn't do justice till I seen the TV copy of like how like after the game I was like, how did that happen? And then
did you feel like you overread it a little bit? Like you got a little happy, like I got him. Do you feel like you kind of overread it a little bit or momentum?
Nah, because I knew we like I figured out their keyword for draw, so I knew they were running draw.
Yeah,
but the front we're running games, so like I could potentially have two gaps. So like I have to sit back and kind of bait him into going this one. So by the time I got there to try to make the play. But like I said, it wasn't really about what I did or even necessarily what Brady did. It was what the O-line did after me and Brady met in the hole.
Okay, so it's one of those things where like even off the read step, like you felt it, you felt good about the play, but it was just it was
their O-lines, like I said, their O-line's effort and energy post the, you know what I'm saying? When the ball gets past them, that's one thing they take it to another level as far as like they really, if you watch them, like there's going to be an offensive lineman by the ball, no matter where the ball is. If it's caught down the field, one of them offensive linemen is going to run down there and try to hit somebody away from the pile.
Damn you. But anyway, man, thank you again, man, for coming on, man. Appreciate everybody that's checking the video out, man. And this is another episode of Deep in the Game, man. Always remember, you might be deep in this game, but you got the rules missing. Take care, everybody. And Josh, keep working, brother.
Yes, sir.